Sheesh. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the curriculum and instruction meeting. I apologize that you can't see me. I have two devices going. The one with the camera is taking forever to log in, so you won't see me until that device is logged in. So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:06. And our gorgeous Mary Ellen has just joined us. Yay.
It's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Just got back from, sorry to be a little late, but
That's
time is
okay.
different. It's 3 o'clock here.
Oh, where are you?
I'm in Idaho
Oh,
with my
wonderful.
sister.
Okay, very nice.
So
Well,
let
happy
me-
birthday.
Yeah,
Thank
happy
you.
birthday.
We should have gotten Rob to sing, but we didn't prepare. So we'll do it next year.
Right, I'm writing it down.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Rob.
So we'll call the meeting to order. It's Mary Ellen Ludwig and Sherelle Harris. Sherry should join us pretty soon. Erica's daughter took ill, so Erica did email that she will not be joining us this evening. So Erica, if you're out there, we're wishing Brooklyn a speedy recovery. So Mary Ellen, I'm not sure. We don't really have a quorum, so maybe we can wait for Sherry and do the minutes at the end of the meeting, if that's okay.
What are you saying?
So if Sherry comes on, we can approve the minutes from the May 24th
right,
meeting at
right.
the end, if that's okay.
Yes, that's okay. That's okay.
Wonderful. So I am excited. We have Heba with us this evening, and Heba Abdallah, yes?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I pronounce it right. And everybody, please note the pronunciation next to her name, please.
Thank you.
So she's from Waterford, and Waterford is a national education nonprofit that's dedicated to high quality educational resources for children and the community. They have several partners, and as I mentioned to Heba, if they weren't so great, you know, people wouldn't want to partner with them. So kudos to you and your partnerships. Our board member, Cara Nelson Bakey, brought this organization to our attention back in April. Very excited about it. And the organization actually introduced themselves to me about a month ago. And I brought Dr. Estrella on, and we met with them and we were very impressed. We're looking at the early childhood component of their program. I'm really excited because Norwalk Public Schools is a one-to-one school, but we don't have anything similar for our preschool children, and that's where Waterford will come in. So without further ado, I will introduce Heba Abdallah, and she will give us a breakdown of Waterford.
Thank you so much for that very warm introduction. And we're really excited to be working in Connecticut. We did work over the summer with our program that is a condensed version of the one that goes through the academic year. And it's just for the summer months for pre-K kindergarten, for pre-K kids before they enter kindergarten. What we're recruiting for now in Connecticut is for children entering kindergarten in the fall of 2023. And I have a presentation, a brief presentation to share with you. And as I had mentioned to Sherelle, I just want to, I don't want you to think that I'm rude when I hop off at your time, it would be 5:30, just because I have a commitment with my colleague to present here in this event that we have. So I just want to say that I'll quietly leave, but please don't think I'm rude. It's because I couldn't make 100 people change their schedule for me. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay. And so I work for Waterford, waterford.org. It's a national nonprofit focused on early education. What we're speaking about specifically is called Upstart. Our organization does work in other areas and other programs. We do work in elementary schools, but what we're talking about today is for pre-K children, and it's offered for kids that are to help them be better prepared for their kindergarten years and afterwards. Our organization is based in Utah. I'm physically I live in New Jersey, but the organization is based and began in Utah around in the 70s. It took a significant change in the early 2000s when, with the state of Utah, they developed the program that we're talking about, which is a program that is focused on literacy, math, and science, and it is working to address a gap that sometimes occurs to children who do not receive any education or tools that help with literacy before they enter kindergarten. And what the research was telling them was that they found that the gap only increased. The gap was prevalent in the kindergarten years, and it only compounded as the child went on in their education in the elementary years. So the idea is to try and stop that gap from the onset. Currently, we're in, sorry, that's an outdated year, but currently we are serving 300,000 children in about 43 states. It does change depending on where we are receiving funding, but that is about the number of states that we work in each year. We focus on three main pillars. One is equity and access. The second is family empowerment. And lastly, it's universal literacy. Our program does also focus on math and science, but one of our primary objectives is achieving universal literacy for all children. We really want to implement our program and our initiatives with the family's involvement. We do not want to replace their engagement, nor do we think that we would be successful without their engagement. And with regard to equity and access, one of the things that we try and do is we try and identify areas where perhaps children would not have access to early education. It could be children, depends on the state, but it could be that they are on a waiting list for pre-K that is afforded by the state, but they haven't been able to get in. It could be that they're in a rural community where it isn't reasonable for them to access early education. It could be that there's language or technology gaps. It could also be that parents are not comfortable sending a child to outside the home at that early of an age. In the end, what we are trying to do is to provide the tool to anyone who is interested and sees that it will be useful for their children. And what that tool is essentially is it's an adaptive online program that is on a computer that is used 15 to 20 minutes a day. The 20 minutes a day is for our condensed summer program, but the full year program, 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, shows that it has a positive impact on the trajectory of the child for kindergarten and afterwards. And by personalized curriculum and by adaptive learning, it means that the child begins at a specific level, which is based on the assessment that they take. It's a brief assessment. It's not a serious assessment like the SATs or anything like that. It's a brief, fun assessment. It measures where they are in terms of the level of comfort. And from that, the program begins to progress. As the child becomes more comfortable in certain areas, it progresses faster. As the child is perhaps not comfortable, then it slows down the pace. I'm just giving you a quick snapshot of the curriculum just to give you an idea of how broad it is. It goes from pre-K to second grade. This is a snapshot of literacy, but also in math and science. And the reason why I'm sharing that is to show that although this is for children that are 4-year-olds or pre-K, it has the ability to adapt to children who are very confident in certain areas, and the curriculum goes up to second grade. Here's a quick example of mindset skills, or what's sometimes called social emotional learning, just to show you the characters.
Did you hear that? It's that noise again. Let's go investigate. Follow me! Marmot, what's with all the racket?
Oh, I'm trying to get my stuff up to the clubhouse, but it's really heavy.
Oh dear. Let's help. Go get him, Pigeon. Lift! Come on, Lift! You doing okay, Marmot?
I think so. Thanks for helping me, Pigeon.
Pigeon needs our help. Will you help? Great! Flap your arms like a bird. Oh. I think it's working. You're almost here. Keep flapping. Here we come. Just a little higher. Hang on, Marmot.
Look out!
Oh no, you're on my tail.
So that's intended to promote the idea of supporting friends, sharing, social emotional learning. I'm going to share with the group in the chat a link to a new video that we just set up. You can watch at your leisure, which gives examples of other parts of the program that has to do with letters and arithmetic. This is one of the external evaluations that we had that was done on the program. It's a longitudinal study, and it showed it was taken up to the 4th grade, and it showed that overall, as well as in various categories, there was a positive impact on the children who used Upstart. And as I mentioned, it's by using Upstart, we're talking about 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. I know that across the US, and in particular in the northeastern states, the issue of screen time is an important one that matters to a lot of parents. So it is something that we think is important to mention, that the positive impact comes from a brief amount of time with the screen. One of the things that is really important that we would like to emphasize is we are not trying to replace anything or anybody. And I think this is one of the examples. We really do work through schools, through libraries, through institutions that are on the ground, that know the community and the families much better than we do, to just share our program with those community members. So we're just trying to meet with different organizations to kind of tell them, this is what we're trying to do. We are legitimate and we are trying to be thoughtful, and we are here to provide you with anything that you need to share this program with your community members. The registration is online. It's very brief and it's very simple. And I don't think I actually emphasized it earlier on, but there is no cost associated with any of this. So the computer is provided for free. The program is for free. The access to our coach is also for free. At the end of the program, there's no longer access to the coach, but the computer can remain with the family. We don't ask for that back. Our funders vary. In the case of Connecticut, it is a pilot project from the TED Audacious grant. So that's how we are able to provide everything for free. What we work to do is to try and, with this pilot project, try to say, listen, we have interest not only by registrations, but by the data of usage of the students, by the partners that are that we are able to engage with. And we bring that then to legislators to try and say, to try and ask for more sustainable and long-term funding. And that is it. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
I have a question.
Sure.
So is there like recommended timeframes or some kind of framework that is provided to support in helping to make sure that the screen time children are exposed to is monitored and limited to the recommendations?
That not from our side. It is really up to the parents. And the reason why we do that is we don't want to interfere in the process, especially that the computer is in the home of the family. So we don't want them to feel that we are policing this process. It is up to the family to monitor. We are trying to say, if you have the child do it for 15 minutes, there will be a positive impact. If the child does it for longer, that would be out of our hands.
I have a question. So I love the idea of connecting with our community. We've expanded pre-K programs, which we're going to talk a little bit about in the second half of this subcommittee meeting. But my question is sustainability and long-term. What are the potential of you start the program this year and then continuing the following year? I know you said that it changes year to year depending on need and funding and things of that nature, but I think that this is such a great program. And how would we be able to continue to support families as we get new pre-K students in the future years?
I think that's an excellent question. And we don't know for sure, obviously, but what we do try and do is, as I had mentioned, we try and give evidence of the usage, we try and give evidence of the partners, and we try and convince the legislators that there's interest in your state for this program. Clearly, Norwalk is an important community. Clearly, everyone here is your very pivotal institutions in the community, in the early education sector and education sector. So when we go to them saying we are partnering, with the Norwalk Library and the school district, and we do have data on how many have registered in each district, that is very convincing data for the legislators. One example that I can give is in New Hampshire, we started in a pilot project 2 years ago with the Audacious Grant money, and then we received a PDG grant in collaboration with the United Way. And then this past year, we were able to get state funding for 1,000 children to be able to be registered. So that's where we try and go. But there is no guarantee until the legislator says, okay, I like your idea, and we have the money to be able to finance it.
So we could be your cheerleaders, right?
Exactly. And we do, when we have information, we have data in the aggregate. So we're able to say, in Connecticut, in this district, they have used it for this amount. Too little or too much is not a good thing when it's right in that 15 to 20 minutes, give or take 5 minutes on each end. Then we're saying they've used this, and we see the progress in terms of the level of the curriculum that they're advancing in. That is all very convincing data, and usage is a very convincing data point, more than how they're progressing. That they're using it properly shows that it wasn't just about getting a computer, and then they're just putting it aside. No, they're actually logging in and they're playing the games and they're doing all the things. That is a very convincing thing to bring to legislators.
Sure. So we want to be respectful of your time. So I just want to ask if there's any other questions.
Yes.
Mary Ellen.
Yes. Heva, just wondering, you mentioned 4-year-olds. Is this, does this also work? Is it for 3-year-olds also, or is it's pre-kindergarten? So that's what I want to.
Yeah, I can share there's earliest date of birth and a latest date of birth, because states are different in when they accept. So I can share that in an email, if just so I don't want to misspeak and say the date wrong, because there's a specific date that the program accepts a registration. So I can share that, but the answer to your question is it is for children who are entering kindergarten in the fall of 2023.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And that also includes children who are being held back. So sometimes it's actually older, and that they would be accepted. There is something also that I'd like to mention, I forgot to mention, is we also offer sibling accounts. So on the same computer, we could offer a separate account for a sibling in that home. Sometimes a child is maybe 5 or, first grade, and they would like to have an account. So we wouldn't give an additional computer, but we would have their own account that they could log into.
Wonderful.
And use the materials up to second grade?
Correct, yes.
Ah, okay.
Awesome.
So there would just need to be one child who is in the pre-K stage.
I just had one last question.
Sure.
Internet requirement for the software?
Yes, the internet, if the family needs internet, we'll provide the jetpacks or the hotspots, and we'll pay for that and the internet. At the end of the program, we do ask for that back. But we would pay for the actual device and the cost of the internet.
All right, thank you very much.
Wonderful. Connectivity is very important.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate you taking your time to be with us to present again, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, please do. And thank you very much. I thank you for allowing me to share this with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Take care,
Good
everybody.
luck. Good luck with your presentation.
Thank you. Bye.
So, Rob, before you go on to your portion, I just want to recap. Dr. Stray and I were both very, very impressed with the coaching that they offer, the coaching, because it's their program. We had discussed whether, someone on our team would be trained, but we thought it would be better if their team offered the coaching. The fact that they're cognizant of parents who want limited screen time was very important. The fact that they offer the device, will be a total one-to-one. Now we'll have one-to-one for our preschool students as well. And with them offering the jetpack and the internet for free, and also having sibling accounts, it's phenomenal. So I'm very impressed with the program.
I am as well, and I think that it's going to be important for us as our next portion is talking about some of our expansion of pre-K programs and supporting our community. I think the idea, as you just mentioned, of having a true one-to-one from pre-K to 12, it really can be a game changer and help support all of our families and students.
And the connectivity as well, because sometimes people forget we can give you this, but if you can't connect, awesome.
Cheryl, I have a question about how they go about mentoring the parents. Did you see or hear any of the type of interaction that they would use?
We did not see that or hear it, but what will happen is whatever supports the parents need, they would provide it, whether it's helping, training them to use the device or giving them like an overview of the program. Just whatever it looks like. So Dr. Estrella and I probably will meet with them. Dr. Estrella they actually wanted to do the partnership with the library. So I brought Dr. Estrella in. So we have to figure out how this is going to work as a partnership between the library and the school system. But
So kind of where I'm going with that question is, do they actually communicate through the computer, or do they go to the family house and work side, say, okay, this is how you use the computer and how you use the program? That's what I was wondering.
We're hoping the latter.
Yeah.
I think initially we had talked about, I guess it would be the computer, but I think Dr. Estrella brought that point up. So we would have to see, or they would have to see who's available in Connecticut to be able to do that.
And maybe we could support that too.
For sure.
What do you think, Rob?
No,
Can-
absolutely.
Can we support, they're supporting the,
I think it couldn't
parents.
just be all on them, because parents are going to have a lot of initial questions, and
Mhm.
we can be Waterford providing coaching, I think, is huge. But I also think that our tech team is also going to have to help out. And then from our early childhood standpoint, even having like a night at each of the programs, or having an event
Right.
at NECC where we can roll it out to the families at NECC or at
Family Center.
the family center. That's exactly
Or the
what.
library. Let's not
Or the
forget
library.
Or the
library.
or the library.
Oh, we have so many possibilities here.
We absolutely do.
Yes.
Can I just say, the only thing that I'm thinking about is the hotspots, right? Like giving access to families and then like taking it back. Like, is there a way that we can maybe secure funding so that families can have the hotspot, right? Because if they're in need of it, it's going to be a long-term need, not just during the length of the program.
But what I will say is that if it's a K, I mean, if this is what it's been, if it's been a K-12 family that has had a need, we have worked with the family through the
Okay.
Family Navigators program and with Ralph to provide them with connectivity. So if they're in preschool and they get the hotspot and then they need it for kindergarten, I think that we have a system set up already so to support families. And I think
Awesome.
that will be an important piece, right? You can't say, here, you have Wi-Fi free.
Right.
But we have a system in place to help support them as they transition to kindergarten.
Okay, so the language would probably, we're going to take this one back and we're going to provide you with this one next.
Absolutely.
Rob, could you explain that just a little bit more? How do we provide to K through 12? How do we do that?
So during the pandemic, we had a partnership and with the Family Navigators with the city.
Okay.
And we would, at a school level, we would fill out a form and it would be around providing hotspots and wireless. And we provided, I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to misspeak on that number, but we provided families with hotspots that they could use to support them for instruction and using their devices. I think Sherelle made a great point earlier that sometimes we have a device, but if it doesn't have Wi-Fi, it's just a paperweight, and especially if we're doing things online. So it was an important piece for us to be able to provide families and to provide our students with Wi-Fi. And so that was a system that we developed. And like I said, I wish I could tell you the exact number, but I know Ralph would know that exact number. We provided Wi-Fi to a lot of families to support them with their devices.
And so
We
the
also
number
got a
doesn't.
grant, I believe, too. We had a grant because we had the announcement at the library, the Dalio Foundation provided the.
Oh, I
connectivity.
remember reading about that, Dalio.
Because they also had the epiphany that, you can have the device, but if you can't connect to it. So that was a very important part too. Yeah.
And so did we achieve, which I'm hoping it's a yes, 100% of students were able to have that conductivity?
As long as the family let this, like if the school knew, then there was a system in place. But if the family did not let us know that they didn't have Wi-Fi, then during the pandemic when we were teaching remotely, yes, we knew exactly, but afterwards it really is dependent on the family saying that they may need this support.
I see. Okay, thanks. I learned a lot right there. Thank you.
Wonderful. So I know we have a town hall coming up, so we should probably jump into the second half of our presentation, which coincides with the first half. So we'll talk about early childhood.
But the town hall canceled, right?
Yes, it was.
Oh, was it canceled?
Yeah.
It was. It's next Monday.
Next Monday.
Oh, okay. I had a procedure earlier, so I haven't been on internet. So anyway, thank you.
So our next section will just be an early childhood update from Amaris Melendez, our education administrator for early childhood. And she's just going to talk about some of the components throughout the start of this year, some of our expansion in the early childhood realm, and some of the work that our team has been doing. So the floor is yours, Amaris.
Okay, thank
Nice.
you. Thank you
Go
for
girl.
having me this evening. I'm going to share my screen because I do have a presentation. Okay, are you guys able to see it?
Yes.
Mhm.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so we're excited to share that for this school year, 2022-2023, we have expanded in preschool opportunities within NPS. And two of those classrooms are at our brand new South Norwalk School. Originally slated to have 4 classrooms, however, we were able to enroll for 2. And one of those classrooms includes our school readiness model, which is funded by the Office of Early Childhood. And the other classroom, and so the school readiness is a 50-50 model, with 50% of the students being typical and 50% of our students having disabilities. We also have a new preschool overseen by NPS or staffed by Norwalk Public Schools at Wolf Pit. And the reason being is that originally this classroom was overseen by Ellie, Stepping Stones Museum for Children. However, there has been such a challenge for staffing across all early childhood programs. And Ellie felt this through the summer when they were doing their best to try to recruit and hire to start their year off with all their classrooms staffed. And unfortunately, they weren't able to do so. Many of the educators they had have left the profession entirely. And the candidates that were applying just weren't qualified to be with our youngest learners. And therefore, NPS was able to name one of our teachers to take over this classroom. And so we now have a new preschool with 18 children at Wolf Pit. And they are overseen by the leadership there. So Principal Jackie Aarons, in partnership with myself and Jennifer Skeeters, will be overseeing this program, or are overseeing this program because we've already started. We also have our Montessori at Brookside, which has the primary classroom and the elementary, the primary and the lower elementary classroom in place. We continue to have our partnership with Ellie, Stepping Stones, at Fox Run, Kendall, and Merrimack. They all have one classroom there. We also have NECC, which is our 50-50 model program. And NECC has one school readiness classroom, which is a full day model. And then we have 4 classrooms that have half-day options, which service 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. And we have children coming in as young as 2.9 years of age. Very,
Wow.
very tiny, very cute. And they remain at the program for about 2 years. We also have year-round enrollment here at NECC because we are the evaluation hub for Norwalk, and therefore we receive students who come in through 3 services, as well as other preschool referrals of children that might need an evaluation for some concerns that are coming up, either in the classroom or from the family. And so everybody connects when there are concerns, families and programs connect with NECC, and they are scheduled to go through an evaluation. If children qualify, then they start their programming at NECC. And therefore, it fills up quickly, and we service about 150 students and more throughout the school year. And of course, we have our community providers. I feel like we have 14 providers within the city of Norwalk, which we all partner together, meet through the early childhood council meetings and the provider meetings. And so we very much stay connected and in partnership with our providers. And also something absolutely worth mentioning is that NECC has achieved a NIAC accreditation, and NIAC is our National Association for the Education of Young Children. It is an accreditation of high regard. We did score very high on their scale, and so we're very proud of that because it was the teachers, the families, the leadership, and all those structures and components of NECC that helped us to achieve the award. And so we're fortunate enough that the accreditation followed the class that moved over to Sono, and therefore we have an accredited program at NECC as well as our new Sono school. And so we look forward to being able to get the accreditation for any other programs that we have within Norwalk Public Schools, because again, it's a stamp of high quality and continuous improvement within a preschool.
Can we ask questions as we go along?
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, if you could back up on that.
Yeah. Oh, 1 second, I have two screens and sometimes it gets stuck. Here we go.
So this is informational. I'm not, could you explain a few things about NECC? First, where is it located?
Mhm.
And then is it, are all the teachers paid within the Norwalk Public School system? Or or is there any charge for children going to NECC? Those are my questions.
Yes. So NECC is located at 11 Allen Road. It is co-located with our Norwalk Senior Center.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I actually I know a para that works there.
Yes, yes.
Ew,
So-
Mrs. Van Deventer, if you know her.
Yes, Sue Lynn is amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
So all the staff are part of Norwalk Public
Okay.
Schools. So the
Okay. Thank
teachers are certified teachers through us. So are the paras. We have amazing service providers, BCBAs, really a team of very dedicated educators servicing all the students there. And so for our typical students, there is for the part day programs, there is a fee. It's $300, which is a competitive price right across, if we look across other parts of the city and state.
$300. How much? A week? A month?
A month.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we do have one classroom that is a school readiness classroom. And so the tuition is based on a sliding scale, dependent on the family's income.
All right. Very helpful.
Mhm.
So can I
And-
just add
Sure.
into as well that Norwalk Early Childhood, a lot of their programs are accredited, just because of the nature of the program and the expertise. So you have, it's great that it's extending into the Norwalk Public Schools, but you also have the private preschools like Children's Playhouse, Carousel, 5 Mile River, wonderful programs that all fall under that umbrella of the Norwalk Early Childhood. So I'm glad to see that it's extending to our Norwalk Public Schools as well. So kudos for the accreditation approval.
Yes, thank you. And there was another component. And so also there is no fee for students that enter the program based on their qualification for SPED services.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know.
I do have just one quick question. I know with the other program that we just spoke about, Waterford, they talked about the doubles, which we use, but I believe with the preschool, the LE program, do they keep track with the Pele, I believe, is that correct?
That's correct. And we're actually going to touch on it a few slides
Okay.
in. Yeah.
Good.
Which is the Pele is the baby version of Dibbles. They align together,
Mhm.
measuring those literacy skills or the pre-literacy skills. Okay. So because we have added preschool programs, we absolutely want to anchor ourselves in our mission, right, to ensure that our preschool classrooms are language rich, are high quality, that they are research based, that we are providing developmentally appropriate practices that revolve around meeting the children's needs through play-based centers. We strive to create settings that promote critical thinking, that partner with families, that really help support children in with their strengths, with their interests, and also help support in those areas that need further development. And so we're planning out dates to bring our teachers together from across the different preschools so that we can engage in professional learning that's specific to the age group that they're servicing. So, right, so sometimes the professional learning that's targeted for maybe K through 5th grade or K through 3, while it does align, it's not always specific to 3s and 4s. No. Sorry about that. Sorry. One second. Sorry.
You okay?
Fellow police department here. Yes, I'm okay. All righty. Okay, so in order to support this work and to ensure that we're creating high quality experiences within our preschool classroom that align to all those things, critical thinking, language rich environments, numeracy rich environments and experiences, we have brought in a curriculum called World of Wonders. And the reason that may sound familiar is because our K to 5 grades already use Wonders. And World of Wonders is that prerequisite that gets the children ready for the work that they will move into when they enter kindergarten and beyond. And so World of Wonders is learning through different themes. And I do want to say that while the themes pictured on the slide are cartoonish, the learning very much is connected to real world experiences, real world learning, learning through play with real, making connections with friends, bringing experiences from outside in, such as our community workers or objects from, let's say, like the pizzeria or the bakery. If we're, for example, the nature unit will allow us to bring in flowers and gardening materials and maybe a florist or something like that. So it really allows opportunities to engage within different experiences and different materials. And the teachers will use the units to guide what is happening in the different areas of the classroom. All of the units are used in a developmentally appropriate way, right? Ways that align to our Connecticut ELD standards or Connecticut Early Learning and Development Standards, which basically tell us what children should know and what they should be able to do by the time they leave the preschool age. And there's a continuum through so the CT dots. It's a framework that helps us to collect data, to monitor children's growth, their progress, and helps us determine what that next level is within the learning continuum for their age group. Any questions there? And this is a new program, right? We just brought it on. We did a soft pilot last spring at NECC. And now this year we're in implementation mode. Teachers are still working through it. We're unpacking it. The professional learning time that we have on Mondays is used to, unpack it, comb through, think of the ways, the experiences that teachers can create in the different areas of the classroom and the centers. And so this is ongoing work. And we've also started to create unit plans that kind of mirror the K through 5 unit plans as aligned to Wonders. However, for preschool, it looks a little different because all the learning is integrated in the different centers. So it's not like blocks, like a literacy block, or a math block. We do literacy learning and we do math learning within the play that's happening in center time. And so center time is the block. And I have a sample schedule to share as well.
So just a quick question. So the World of Wonders and Wonders are this the same people make the programs? I mean, the curriculum?
McGraw-Hill, yes, it's the same publisher.
So that's nice. So there'll be like a like a continuum. So that's nice, very nice.
Yes, and there's also, family letters, so the families can know what the children are focusing on within that month, what questions they can ask at home, what games they could play, what words are highlighted right through the different centers, the different units. And so there's a nice parent school connection piece to really support the learning and, and ensure that the children are getting experiences at home and in school that mirror each other.
So with the preschool teachers, are these newer preschool teachers that are learning the world of wonders? Or are they existing preschool teachers?
So many of our teachers have already been with us, right? Our NECC teachers, many of them have, there's like 20 plus years with Norwalk Public Schools. However, the program is new. And so everybody is learning it together. And of course, our veteran teachers share their expertise. And our new teachers, we also have some new teachers in the district. Everybody comes together to exchange ideas and to think through the ways that we can put best practices forward to help support student learning. And when I say student learning, it's all students, right, with diverse abilities and needs and interests and strengths. So we're really thinking about how we're differentiating this curriculum, right? It's not a cookie cutter curriculum. It's not here's right the 3 circles and a triangle make a snowman, right? And it has to look the same. Absolutely not. It's a curriculum that really allows students to create authentic student work, to engage in authentic play, where teachers can be language supports and instructional supports, as well as the paras, right? The paras are very much instructional in the settings, in our preschool settings. And so the professional learning is for our paras because in every classroom, how can I say it? In a classroom that's doing high quality practices and you walk in, you will never be able to tell who's the teacher and who's the para, right? Because the professional learning engages both of them. And so that's the model that we want for all of our classrooms, especially so for our preschools, because it's so hands-on and it's so busy. And, they're young children. And so we want to be able to support them and build their stamina and their brain power and help them with that language development piece, especially now, right, this year, because those first 3 years of development were interrupted, right, because of our pandemic. And so we are really trying to empower teachers to use all opportunities to bring that language piece into the classroom, right? So if it's a snack, it's a snack with dialogue and questions and opportunities to think critically. If it's that transition time in the morning, how are we asking children questions and really seeing them and using their name and encouraging them to talk to a friend and ask a question and all of those things.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just want to be cognizant of our time. We've got about 6 more minutes.
I can talk about early childhood forever, so thank you for reminding me. So here is an example of our classroom setup. Again, it's set up through centers. And the children, this is how they learn best. They learn through play. And so we'll have a library area, a block play area. We'll have a dramatic play where they can role play and make decisions and negotiate with each other. An art space where they can make decisions and create and innovators, right? We have a writing center that encourages children to write and to explore and to build that foundational literacy piece, again, through play. And it's all exposure, right? We do teach sounds, letter names, and all of that through the books we read, through their names, right? Their names are the most important word in preschool. And so we highlight the letters in their name and that first initial, and we create the classroom through that with the prints that ties with their name and their words and their art pieces and their writing pieces. Here is a sample of a daily schedule, which includes morning meeting and read alouds. Of course, I can't stress enough, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, Ms. Cheryl, when I say this, how important read alouds are in all grades, right? But especially our young grades, this is prime opportunity, right, to really increase children's language, help them acquire vocabulary. So center time. So that's our like instructional block time. That's where we're going to have our math experiences and our literacy experiences and our wordplay experiences. And it's all incorporated into the centers. And so unit by unit, it will change according to what the children are exploring, what questions they're asking, what they want to learn about, and all of those things that teachers bring into the space as well, because teachers have an abundance of creativity that they use within the center time as well. Outdoor play, absolutely important, right, to build those muscles and to promote those social skills with each other. Rest time, they do rest in preschool, which is a big transition, right, when they get to kindergarten, when that doesn't happen anymore. But rest time is we don't call it nap, it's rest, because we just want those non-nappers to have some mindfulness and some time to just, relax and get ready for the next part of their day. 2 center time blocks, because the games and experiences change, right? There could be something really cool happening in the morning, and in the afternoon, maybe a really cool social studies activity in the morning, and then in the afternoon will be science. So that way we always cover all of our disciplines. And we do assess preschoolers with the PELI. So the PELI is our preschool early literacy indicator. Again, it's that prerequisite to the DIBELS. So those skills, like the letter naming, the letter sounds, being able to have that phonemic awareness, right, piece in place, all of that is measured vocabulary. And so our Norwalk in its entirety with all our early childhood programs use this assessment. So we all talk about it. We have a consultant that was brought in when PELI was brought into the district in 2017. And so I know there's been 2 different consultants, or 3, but Jennifer Teleska is the person that we're working with this year and last year. And so she goes from program to program to train the teacher to be able to assess the student. And we use this assessment not to label students, right? Not to see a deficit or to compare them, but to learn about them so that teachers can then inform the practice that's happening in their setting in order to promote more growth and development. Now, the pandemic interrupted this work, right? Because it was new, teachers were getting trained.
Can I
Yes.
just jump in?
Yes, go ahead.
Guys,
That last,
excuse me, can I just be mindful that we have like 2 minutes?
oh, okay. I'll let you summarize. Skip me. It's okay.
No, Mary Ellen, go ahead, but I do have another appointment and I just want to make sure that we're staying within the confines of our meeting.
Right. Well,
Question,
just
please?
applauding how you stated that the purpose of assessment is to look for strengths and actually build on what the child is and where they are at, rather than look for deficits. I thoroughly support that type of thinking.
Yeah, this is huge. Every child has a story, right? And we cannot see that story through one measure. And so this is really important. And we want to make sure that we are supporting teachers in helping to, use the data to inform their practice. And the Ritter Foundation recently awarded us additional funding so that we can continue this work and ensure that all our teachers are trained and that we're able to collect this data in a meaningful way to provide a positive impact on the instruction happening in the classroom. Again, kindergarten assessment has that DIBELS piece, in addition to an ages and stages questionnaire that families fill out during registration. And we have a kindergarten's entries inventory, which is a snapshot of where children are across the 6 different domains of language literacy, numeracy, physical skills, creativity, and personal social skills. we have a great resource for families, the Sparkler app. It's free. It really helps support parents in being able to support their children at home and being able to see if there are any areas that the child needs continued growth in, so that families can then partner with us or partner with their pediatrician to get the supports that they need. And it's free, and I encourage all of our teachers to share this information forward with families. And as we move ahead, we're continuing to create those unit plans for preschool as they align to each of the units within Worlds of Wonders. We do have a Letters Early Childhood cohort that we're trying to put together, which is that language essentials of teaching reading and spelling for our preschool age. So it's specific to our 3s and 4s. We're also going to continue letters with internal facilitator training, meaning the participants that we've had in our letters training in our prior cohorts, those folks who are interested will then join a facilitator training so that the letters learning can continue within our district by our district. And we are continuing to align ourselves with the work that's happening at the Norwalk Early Childhood Council level, with ensuring that all of our classrooms are equitable and offer high quality learning for all students, regardless of who they are, where families come from, the languages they speak. Everybody deserves a high quality education, and we're going to make sure that we're supporting all of our teachers and educators and staffing to make sure children receive this. I think. All right. Sorry about that.
No.
I rushed through.
You're excited and you're passionate, so that's wonderful. So Rob, I'm just going to ask a favor. If we can get the documents prior to the meeting, because a lot of times we go through these documents, we don't have copies of them. They're not sent to us afterward. Is there a possibility of us getting them prior to the meeting?
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to thank everyone. Amaris, your presentation was awesome. It was very, very insightful. So thank you.
Yeah, Amaris, I want to compliment you for your clear thinking and your, wide understanding of the field. It's great to hear you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to be a partner in this work.
Oh, sure. I'm sure you'll be back before us. So, Mary Ellen, we will, I guess, obviously we have to table the May minutes until the next meeting. So I guess we can let Mara know that to include these minutes as well as the May minutes in the next meeting.
Right. They looked good, so we're fine.
But we have to be official. And
yes, I'm all with that.
So we'll do that next time when we have everyone. If there's no objections, I guess I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. Yes.
All right. Thank you,
so
Rob.
much.